The following case study examines School X, a public high school in southeast Queensland. This presentation was created for key stakeholders including principals, deputy principals, curriculum HODs, and members of the staff wellbeing team. This case study will identify the deficit in professional learning, explain the need for said deficit to be addressed, analyze strategies to address, and describe the role of leading the professional learning. Presently, there is no beginning teacher program. Up until the end of 2019, the beginning teacher program was led by pedagogy coaches. However, in that year, a whole school audit revealed their ineffectiveness in developing the pedagogical capacity of teachers. So funding was redistributed to roles which were believed to have greater impact on staff and student learning. The mean experience level of teachers at School X is 12 years. This paints an incomplete picture as 32 teachers, or 26%, are in the first 5 years of teaching. With such a large component of staff in the early stages of their career, it is essential that School X supports their professional needs and well-being. High stress is consistently reported by teachers in the early stages of their careers worldwide. Even the highest achieving university graduates are vulnerable to an unsustainable and seemingly unending shift in their work-life balance. Joining any workplace requires the urgent familiarization with staff, procedures, policy, and culture. New teachers encounter the additional demands of building relationships with potentially 100 new clients who largely depend on the teacher's content and pedagogical knowledge. As such, school structures must be created to support the well-being and professional development of beginning teachers. In the absence of a dedicated program, many experienced teachers provide guidance for early career teachers. All staff at School X consistently engage in structured, that is, faculty meetings, teaching teams, and case management teams, and incidental conversations which center on providing the greatest learning experience for all students. The transfer of knowledge from experienced to beginning teachers has shown to elevate the overall professional standards of teaching teams. However, in the absence of structured programs, beginning teachers are at risk of receiving support varying in frequency, quantity, and quality. A consistent approach is essential to maximize the development and satisfaction of beginning teachers. Continuous opportunities for professional learning are the cornerstone of teaching in the 21st century schools. A steady stream of recommendations from state and federal government, academia, and independent organizations express the need for schools to consistently search for innovative methods to engage and extend students. All teaching staff must dedicate significant time to investigating modern techniques and strategies, then reflect on their current practice to determine if such developments should be integrated to improve student outcomes. This particularly relates to the practice of embedding technology into the classroom. As the rate of technological advance skyrockets and the relative cost decreases, more schools have greater access to modern hardware and software. Teaching practices must be agile enough to adapt with technology progression and to adequately prepare students to enter an increasingly sophisticated workplace. Curriculum continuously progresses through cycles of review and adjustment with respect to the breadth and depth of content and methods of assessment. Teachers must be involved with, at the very least aware of, developments in curriculum and prepare for necessary updates. Perhaps the greatest space for professional growth is amongst beginning teachers. Beginning teacher programs must support the successful transition of university graduates to quality educators and must provide strategies for coping with change and develop prophylactic approaches to burnout. Such approaches include the formation of nurturing professional relationships through a welcoming school culture. More specifically, early career teachers need guidance around the professional standards of practice as measured against the Australian Institute for Teaching and School Leadership. Without this knowledge, they cannot progress through their career regardless of their passion or competence. At the most fundamental level, professional learning communities are vehicles for staff to consistently come together in a structured setting for the purpose of developing their craft through intentional collaboration. This is not as simple as timetabling periodic meetings at a specific location. To achieve improved job satisfaction, DeFore in 2004, page 6, states that PLCs must ensure that students learn, build a culture of collaboration, and focus on results. Only then do PLCs lead to breakthroughs in professional practice, shared learning, and long-term organizational growth. PLCs are a key component of organizations, with the understanding that the most effective means of improving student outcomes is through enhancing teacher effectiveness. Teachers must still be able to demonstrate their professional commitment through autonomy while simultaneously aligning to the overall scheme. While repeated meetings are essential to PLC members are acting towards a shared vision, true learning must extend beyond. Collaborative learning is demonstrated through peer observation, coaching, and professional conversations about teaching practice, and collective learning enables any breakthroughs or growth to be shared by all learners. Relationships where community members collaborate within the context of their organizational needs must be nurtured by establishing shared beliefs, understandings, and ways of working. PLCs must transform unstructured social interactions into meaningful discussions which reflect on current practice, appraise available research, implement innovative strategies, and critically evaluate the effectiveness of these strategies to determine their merit moving forwards. It's this constant cycle of reflection which enables PLCs to maximize organizational outcomes through collaborative learning. The key to successful collaboration is the formation of trusting relationships where learners are confident they can reveal possible flaws in practice without fear of ridicule or judgment. No whole school change can occur and be sustained in the long term without effective leadership. The school leader must be strong to raise expectations of school staff, charismatic to generate buy-in from key internal and external stakeholders, and resilient enough to lead whole school culture change in the face of setbacks and obstacles. The school leader must effectively convince staff that the chosen strategy will ultimately lead to better teaching and learning environment with sustained measurable improvements in student outcomes. While the school leader cannot dictate every action within the school, they are responsible for instituting a clear, evidence-based, context-dependent process and ensure that staff have the resources, including time, to effectively engage with them. Such enormous endeavour cannot be completed alone. To generate school turnaround, the school leader must identify or develop leadership qualities of a team to take ownership of the chosen program. Two key leadership roles include the staff to lead PLC groups and staff to mentor beginning teachers. Improved student outcomes meet at the convergence of effort from the students, staff of all levels, school structures, and external agencies. It is widely reported that the greatest impact on student performance is through building the capacity of teaching staff. Within PLCs, teachers will use the inquiry cycle to structure their learning. This is a component of the state schools improvement strategy and provides a systematic evidence-based framework for how we learn. The inquiry cycle was selected because it explicitly structures learning based on the collection of data, designing intervention programs, and reflection. Mentors are simply individuals who care for the growth of another. Mentors in PLC have the added responsibilities of nurturing professional growth. While the experienced teachers have a wealth of knowledge related to their profession, we cannot assume that they have the skills to build and maintain meaningful mentor-mentee relationships. Mentors must first reflect on their own underlying beliefs and assumptions about their craft, as well as engage in professional learning to ensure they have the requisite interpersonal skills. Mentors must have a keen self-awareness of their explicit, tactical, and internal messages. PLC mentors will use their expert knowledge and by reflecting on their own practice to support the growth of beginning teachers. To say that beginning teachers are inexperienced is not to say they have no knowledge. Mentoring programs are most effective when they first determine the individual beginning teacher's prior knowledge and adapt their support specifically for the beginning teacher's needs. PLC leaders and mentors must implement processes where beginning teachers identify their own strengths and weaknesses. Not only will these PLCs support the professional development of beginning teachers, mentors will experience greater self-efficacy and job satisfaction. PLC leaders, experienced teaching mentors, and beginning teachers will explore the EDUC teaching standards together. While the credibility of teaching standards can be disputed, their importance for beginning teachers is obvious, as they cannot demonstrate professional proficiency without them. In addition to guiding beginning teachers, PLC leaders and experienced teachers will be encouraged to engage with parallel learning and collect evidence of highly accomplished or lead teachers. Not only does this promote career progression at all levels, it enables them to better empathize with the beginning teachers. During the transition from current school practices to a culture where PLCs are the norm, there will undoubtedly be barriers which must be overcome. Traditionally, the observation of teachers operating in classrooms is seen as a consequence of poor performance or discipline. Many, especially those with years of experience, may find even the thought of the colleagues present in their class uncomfortable. Likewise, observing teachers may be resistant to appraise their colleagues. It is up to the leaders of PLCs to ensure that the purpose of observations is not an attack, but an opportunity for teachers to share their skills while opening themselves up to feedback. The transition in professional practice must be attempted tactically, with clear structures in place to ensure that all involved feel safe. PLCs can only succeed when changes to professional practice are driven by data. Teachers must perceive ownership of data with which they engage and the process by which they analyze it. PLCs must also have sufficient time to meet and discuss data so they can develop interventions which will truly address deficits in teaching and learning. In an environment where maintaining a sustainable work-life balance is already difficult, it is unreasonable to assume that teachers can take on the cognitive load of PLCs without lightening the load elsewhere. Creating time for teachers to meet and collaborate is likely to represent the greatest financial barrier to implementing PLCs, but by doing so, the school leader demonstrates their commitment to supporting the professional growth of teachers and continued improvement of student outcomes. All teachers have an inherent desire to deepen their knowledge and refine their craft for the betterment of their students. This goes beyond achieving predetermined metrics of success to an intrinsic need to grow. Beginning teachers represent a subset who, because of their limited experience, will require guidance to achieve their personal and professional growth. Professional learning communities are a proven vehicle to drive whole school organizational growth. Through structured, intentional collaboration, teachers fulfill their personal and professional need to improve. School X will embed PLCs with the specific goal of improving the knowledge and capacity of beginning teachers. This will provide opportunities for other staff, especially those leading PLCs and experienced teachers who will become mentors. Through PLCs, beginning teachers receive tailored support managing the demand of a complex setting, while PLC leaders and mentors develop pride and self-satisfaction. Ultimately, School X will experience improvement in student performance and achievement due to increased quality of teaching.